Hello. So today we will be exploring what have the Saudis done for boxing. So I think the main thing to say is they've brought prize fighting back to the sport. They're able to put up enough money so that top fighters are willing to fight other top fighters, and is the reward is worth the risk. There's enough financial gain to risk losing your O or getting hurt in a big fight against another top contender. Obviously, I think before the Saudis came involved, there was not enough motivation for fighters to take the most difficult fights. If you've got similar amounts of money to fight, Anthony Joshua or Dillian White, if there's not enough financial reward for you to take the more difficult fight, I guess you're just going to take the easier fight. I think with Tyson Fury, that was probably something that we'd seen. He chose to fight White and Chisora again instead of a more difficult contender. Perhaps just because the financial rewards weren't there. I don't want to have a go at Fury, call him a coward or whatever for not fighting the top fighters, but maybe the financial reward just wasn't there. Kind of makes sense why fight a more difficult fight for the same amount of money, for similar amounts of money, when you can fight someone you've already beat. Not necessarily his fault. So it looks like now the Saudis have got more money involved. The bigger fights are being made. As we can see, Fury Usyk has finally been made. Hopefully, no injuries or anything occur so that the fight won't take place. There's very much a sense that the Saudis are, in control. They say, you'll fight this person, you'll get this amount of money. It didn't seem like there's a lot of negotiating to be done. I think when Joshua was fighting, he was told he was going to fight Otto Wallin. I don't think he got a lot of say in the matter because obviously I think ideally he would have wanted an orthodox fighter, not a southpaw, and obviously Otto Wallin is southpaw. But you know, he kind of understood that like, okay, they give me this, I don't really get a say, but that's okay because with the money they're offering, that's all right. I think that was the reason he split with Derek James because I think Derek James wanted him to fight an orthodox for Wilder. But obviously his new coach, I want to say Rob McCracken. I hope that's right. Things are ticking really well. He looked very dangerous in that Wallin fight. However, is there a downside to this? I think it's possible fighters are taking the fights when they know they either don't have the ability to fight other top names or they're not at their best, but they just simply cannot say to them no to the money because there is so much. I think Ngannou, Joshua, I think Joshua's getting 50 million and Ngannou's getting 25 million. I think is the rumour, but correct me if I'm wrong. That's just a rumour I've heard. Because I think, look at maybe like the Wilder fight, like maybe he wouldn't have taken that Parker fight if there wasn't so much money being offered. So perhaps it's getting fighters into the ring where they're not quite as ready or they're not quite at that top level as they should be, but because there's so much money, they just can't say no. Look at Mark Demori. He probably shouldn't have been in there in his last fight in Saudi, but probably just couldn't say no to the money. The same with Ellis Zorro. Just wasn't quite on the level of Opataya yet, but couldn't say no. But then again, even if boxing wise it's not good, you got to think, this is life changing money for these guys' family. Especially the smaller boxers who haven't got that huge name of like a Joshua or a Fury. So I think it's perhaps on a boxing fight it's bad, but at least they're getting life changing money as they deserve. Boxing's a very difficult sport. If you're gonna risk your life, and it is risk life. It is you're risking your life at the end of the day. Look at what happened to Michael Watson after he fought Chris Eubank. One of the most heartbreaking stories in boxing. I think he was paralyzed. Did he have? I think he had brain surgery. Couldn't walk again. Go and read about that if you haven't already. There's like there's a really interesting Chris Eubank podcast with Steve Bunce. His five, it's Radio 5 podcast, I think, where he talks about it. So that's worth a listen if you haven't heard of that story. I mean, obviously the thing everyone always brings up with Saudi is the issue of human rights. I think as a fan, like, that's mainly out of your control. Like, there's not a lot you can do. I think you've just kind of got to sit back and, enjoy the boxing. We're finally getting the best fighting the best. Although, obviously, Joshua Wilder didn't happen. I think that's just a shame why you don't see them in their prime. Because obviously, when you keep delaying, someone's going to lose. Something bad's going to happen at some point. And obviously, Usyk Fury nearly was in jeopardy with Ngannou nearly beating Fury, but it looks like that's going to happen. Hopefully that is, and the winner should get Ngannou or Joshua, whoever wins that fight. So yeah, that was just a brief summary of what Saudi has done for boxing, for anyone who wasn't quite sure. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Saudi has been good for boxing? Obviously, you've got the financial aspect, but, as I covered, there are some negatives too. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you like the content. Goodbye.